The Comedy Network, in association with the Tim Sims Encouragement Fund, present Cream of Comedy 2002. Starring Patrick McKenna. Featuring performances by Kevin Harrod, Linda Ellis, Brad Hart, Rachel Cantelon, and Tim Polley. With a special presentation by Lindsay Leese. Now, from the Second City main stage, here's your host for Cream of Comedy, Patrick McKenna.
Oh, my. Oh, hello. Wow, thank you. Welcome to the 2002 Cream of Comedy. Yes, thank you. That is so great. Thank you. This is the 7th annual presentation of the Tim Sims Encouragement Award, and I'm so glad you could be here. The Comedy Network is standing behind this, as is our gracious host, the Second City. Let's hear it for these folks. Love those people. And we thank them because they are helping us bring to you 5 of the hottest new and up-and-coming comedians in the Canadian scene. They've all been judged by a jury of talented comedians and one old goof who just will not laugh. You know, you gotta have one of those, so they're there. We also have everybody backstage right now, and they have no idea who's won. So it's great, because they're all very supportive of each other, and they're smiling, and they're there as a team. But as the night progresses, it's just fun to watch that deteriorate, really. You know, they're good people, though. What happened was they had a show a few weeks ago where the special showcase of all the comedians got together, and which helped the jury decide on who would be the ultimate winner. 2 of the people there were the founder of the Tim Sims Encouragement Award, Lindsay Leese, and last year's winner, Mr. Levi McDougall.
Hey, Levi, what did you do with all that money you won?
Well, I got myself a girlfriend, actually, and someone who just kind of loved me for me until the money ran out, and then not so much.
So, well, besides the money, what do you remember about being nominated and then winning?
I think what comes to mind is just the gratitude I felt towards all the people who helped me get there, and then the intense rage those people had when I forgot to mention them on TV. So, sorry, Father Mark, Grandma, others.
So because you won, you were invited to be one of the 5 jury members who have selected this year's nominees. Was it hard to choose somebody?
Oh, definitely, because besides having to pick someone who is an outstanding performer or group, the nominee had to be a newcomer, not having performed for more than 2 years.
And after you see them perform at this showcase, the jury's going to have a very difficult decision to make, aren't they?
Yeah, well, how it works is the jury, we all get together in this large boardroom, and they have like finger sandwiches laid out in pop, and there's veggies and dip, and like couscous and cookies spread out.
So there's food.
Yeah, and then we just discuss the nominees until we agree on who this year's winner should be.
So I guess you're going to have to give that crown back, huh?
Over my dead body.
For those of you not familiar with the late Tim Sims, he was a hilarious, brilliant, courageous man and comedian who just loved encouraging young comics to be the same, to be outrageous, be different, and just break the form. He was a wonderful man for that. Just loved encouraging people. As an example, I was subject to much of his encouragement. One time in particular I'd like to relate to is a trip we took to Jamaica together. Tim and I were on a show, doing a show there, and Tim just wanted to get outside of the resort that they insisted we not leave. You know, but Tim had that kind of, let's do it, man. Let's just, you know, that kind of glint in the eye that he encouraged you with. You know, it's usually reserved for, you know, crack addicts who find a credit card, that kind of, let's go. So we stepped outside of the gated community, and it was lovely for about an instant. And then I guess we were swarmed by what the kids today call ne'er-do-wells, I guess. And they're all offering to be our walking tour guide. You know, it's like, come on, man, come with me, man. We take you to the deepest, darkest corners of Montego Bay. So I really wasn't into it too much, but Tim encouraged me. And we went. Now, it was his choice, so he got to pick who was going to be our tour guide from all this lovely ravel. And he chose truly, a 65-year-old man with one leg and no teeth, who went by the name of 3.5 hours later, we found ourselves in the downtown center of Shantytown. Which I know, it sounds sexy, but yet terrifying. It's a fun line. So we're in the center there, and now insists that we have to pay $100 American to find our way out. Oh, the fun, you know. And, Tim's encouraging him by yelling insults at him. He's encouraging him to go away. But rather, he stayed and pulled a very large knife on us, insisting that we pay. So now I'm thinking, run. But before we could do that, whistles. And all these other ne'er-do-wells came from everywhere, with knives and one leg and such, coming at us. And they insisted we paid. We went right, we paid. And I thought, this is great. We're out of here. We're done. And so we get back to the hotel, and I'm furious that we lost the money, we've lost the day, we could have lost our lives. But the best part that I learned about Tim at a time like that is he wasn't mad, he was hurt. He was hurt that he offered this guy an opportunity to better himself, and he didn't take it. He was floored by that this man would let that opportunity go by. And no matter what the situation was, Tim was always looking for the best in people. And that was so wonderful that day because of that. And that's what the fund is really all about, is an opportunity for people to show off, to showcase themselves, just an opportunity to get a leg up in this community. So thank you for supporting that and being here tonight. It's very, very important that we keep this going. Throughout the evening, before each nominee comes out, we're going to show a video package of the nominees, give you an opportunity for them to introduce themselves to us. So let's meet our first gentleman, a hilarious young guy who was born in Brooklyn, New York. But his talent insisted that he move to the comedy hub of Scarborough, Ontario. So let's take the opportunity to say hello to Kevin Harrod.
I wanted to be a detective just because watching the movies and stuff like that, you always see the detectives running around, jumping into this and that and getting shot at it and stuff like that. I was like, man, that's cool, man. I want to be a detective too. And when I grew up and I was like, oh man, you got to be a cop first? I was like, forget it. It's like, yeah, right, you doing comedy. You doing comedy? And then you guys called him the other day and they're just like, he really is doing comedy.
Sometimes you think he's crazy, but you got to do something better than this.
I just think about stuff that's happened, stuff that's gone on in my life, and I tell people about it, and if it makes them laugh, I try and turn it into a joke. Yeah, I get really nervous. Like I get like jittery, like it's like I'm cold or something like that because I'm always shaking. And so what I do is I just kind of nod off, go to sleep in the club. I'd probably pay back some people that I owe, get them off my back. They're like, stop calling me, I got your money, all right?
And now, Kevin Harris.
How y'all doing? How y'all doing? All right, that's good stuff. That's what I like to hear, man. That's good stuff. So, yeah. How many people here gave change to the homeless guy outside, huh? Nobody, huh? It's a bunch of heartless bastards. Look at you. Nobody giving no change, huh? That's cool. I don't know. I don't understand these homeless people, man. I mean, if I were homeless, I would complain to the government that these computers are taking over some good jobs, man, and I'm homeless. I'd be like, damn, man, I could be a parking meter. I sit out here 24 hours a day. I collect change. Why I gotta compete with these parking meters? Video games. I could be a video game. Give me the quarters. I'll beat up people in the street. What do you want? Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat? I will mess a granny up. I'll trip her. I don't know, man. My dad hates homeless people too. That's why when I was like 6 years old, he picked up the whole family. He moved us like an hour and a half out of Toronto into this little ghost town. There was nothing in this town, man. I'm telling you, it was empty. Tumbleweed would roll up to the town and be like, man, ain't nothing here. And just roll away, you know? I don't know, man. The town didn't even have a regular population sign. It was just a mayor by the side of the road counting cars with a dry erase marker. He'd be like, how many in your car? 2? Okay. How many in that car? 3? Okay. You leaving? Okay. A bus? I can't count that high. Tinted windows, man. You know, I don't know. It was a weird town, though, I'm telling you. I remember my first day at school, my mom drove me to school. Me and my mom were sitting in the car for like 5 minutes, just looking at the school. I was like, Mom, there's a cow in front of the school, man. I'm like, what if there's a fire? How are the kids gonna get out, man? He's blocking the door. The kids gonna be like, come on, Mr. Cow, move! No, move! You know, I don't know. It was just a weird town, man. It was a different school, though. It was all white school. It was way out of town. It was all white. Everybody's white. The teachers was white. The students was white. The chalkboards was white. The principal would say, okay, Kevin, come with me. I'm going to lead you up to the classroom. Come with me. And then she brought me up to the classroom. She said, okay, Kevin, wait right here. I'm introduce you to the class. I was like, all right. So she went around the corner. She was like, hi, kids. How you guys doing? The kids were all rowdy. They're like, yeah, 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 yeah. Little bad kids throwing paper airplanes, dancing. Yeah, 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 yeah. You know, and then she's like, okay, calm down, kids. I have an announcement to make. We have a new student coming in from out of town. And they're all like, yeah, new student, woo, bring him in, woo! And she's like, calm down, kids. You know, it's hard being a new student coming in from out of town where you don't know anybody, right? So I want you all to be nice and welcome Kevin. And they're like, yeah, Kevin, bring him in, woo! And she's like, Kevin, come in. And I walked her in, and she's like, yeah, woo! He's black. One kid started crying. He's like, oh. It was weird, man. That was my first day, and I must have sat there for like an hour, and nobody said nothing. I was just sitting there. I was like, somebody gonna teach something or something? Out of nowhere, the basketball coach came running up to the class. He's like, oh, I don't mean to interrupt, but I heard that you have a... Next thing I know, he's walking me down to the basketball gym. He's like, what's your last name, boy? Jordan Johnson? I was like, no, it's Harrod. He's like, I haven't heard that name before. Come on anyway. And he brought me down to the gym. I remember I was in the gym, had a big gym basketball jersey on, oversized, standing next to this tall-ass white guy. He was like this tall, he was like this. The ref was like this with the ball, ready to throw it up. The bleachers were full of people just anticipating, like, I was like, damn, man. I got like 2 seconds to figure out how to play this game. Anyway, thanks a lot, people.
Stay tuned for more Cream of Comedy after these messages. And now, back to Cream of Comedy with your host, Patrick McKenna.
Our next nominee is a 30-year-old young lady who was born in Stewiacke, Nova Scotia. Let's meet Linda Ellis.
I remember I got hooked on Johnny Carson when I was like 14, and my parents let me stay up and watch it every night. And so I knew then that I wanted to do stand-up. You know, I wish I knew what the secret was, because it'd make it a lot easier. I always rehearse my set full performance level in the shower. And I listen to a band called The Gossip, full blast on my walk down to the room. I wear the same pair of cords, not washing them all week, kind of like a hockey thing if I'm performing the same week. And I always wear black underwear. I get nervous, but I try and like put it into a creative energy. I remembered all my jokes. I'm so happy. I have a day job as a nanny, so that's, and I hate kids, so that's the funny part there. Shots of Jägermeister for all the judges.
Learn to be cruel. It's a jungle out there. You're too darn nice.
My friend said to me, Linda, are you gonna be devastated if you don't win? I said, I'll be devastated if I do win. Who are you kidding here?
Please welcome to the stage, Linda Ellis.
I'm excited to be here. I got a new hairstyle for the show, and my friend came up to me and said, Linda, how much did you spend on that hideous haircut? A friend, right? I said, I'll have you know, I spent $20 on the bottle of wine that inspired me to pick up a pair of scissors. So I'm lying, it was only a $6 bottle of wine. So rock on, Rockaberry cooler. That's all I have to say. I live on a scary street. Do you want to know what's more intimidating than a dog on a leash? A cat on a leash. Because then you gotta think to yourself, what did this cat do? That the owner went, that's it. Take the leash off the pit bull, put it on mittens. Living in Toronto, I love Toronto. You guys got a lot of fine dining establishments, I've noticed. But don't you hate it when you walk into the bathroom of a restaurant and it smells better than the restaurant? You're like, is that cinnamon? Can I get my toast in here? Wait a minute, you guys aren't cooking in here, are you? 'Cause that makes me nervous. I hit a new low recently. I found myself grocery shopping at the dollar store. That's not a proud moment, I gotta tell you. I was carting around $37 worth of MSG. Not an expiry date in my cart past 1996. Started feeling sorry for myself, got a little weepy-eyed, and this old woman comes over to me and she puts her arm around me. She goes, I know. The prices are outrageous. But you'll eat a lot of things when you're poor. You'll eat things you wouldn't normally eat. Like I eat a lot of corned beef. Can anyone explain corned beef to me? You need a key to open it? How secure does meat in a tin have to be? Why the drastic security measures? You know? I'm from the Maritimes where we don't even lock our front door. But our corned beef, Fort Knox. I gotta tell you guys a little bit of advice. Don't get high and get in the shower, okay? Sure, it's fun, but it's not effective and it's not efficient. Okay, I'll give you an example of this. Last time I got high and I got in the shower, I conditioned my hair before I shampooed it, and I shaved my left leg 3 times. And that's not even mentioning all the apricot facial scrub I ate. So, you gotta be careful. And ladies, whatever you do, don't operate a razor when you're high. I had this friend, she cut her nipple off. Okay, it was me. But it was an honest mistake. I was shaving my pit, I reached across, I was like, was that my, what do you do, right? You pick your nipple out of the drain, you wrap it in tissue paper, you slap it on ice, you take it to the doctor, he tries to reattach it, it's all deformed, you're looking at a prosthetic. I'm thinking thimble, button, red M&M, I don't know. That's great, I've just alienated myself, that's awesome. You're like, Linda, she wasn't a bad comic, but I hear she only has 1 nipple. So, stop trying to figure out which one it is. It's pretty easy. You pay me and I show you, I'm just that easy. So have you guys heard about the West Nile virus scare that's going on in the city? Are you paying attention to this? I heard on the television that we're supposed to report all suspicious bird deaths to the authorities. Would you guys know a suspicious bird death from an unsuspicious bird death? And who are the authorities on this, you know? But being the concerned citizen I am, I went out and tried to locate a few, and I think I found one. I saw this little dead crow on the sidewalk, and beside him was this tiny pencil and this little journal that I can only assume is the dead crow's diary, right? Let me read a little bit and let me know what you think. November 15th, 2002. 6 a.m., rose early, caught a couple worms. Sorry, it's really messy. It's definitely crow writing, but it looks like chicken scratches to me. 12 o'clock, feeling peckish, ate a few seeds. He's having a good day. Okay, here's the part. Holy, are the mosquitoes ever bad today? I'm itchy all over. I wonder, and then it just stops. Foul play? Thank you very much.
Stay tuned for more Cream of Comedy with Patrick McKenna. And now back to more Cream of Comedy.
The third nominee of the evening, or as they say in Quebec, the turd guy there, is Mr. Brad Hart. And it's interesting, Brad says he really didn't have a choice in being a Canadian stand-up comic. It's just something he had to do. Something he had to do to pay for a crime he committed in a previous life. Let's meet Mr. Brad Hart, ladies and gentlemen.
all through high school and stuff, I did stuff on stage and wrote and made people laugh that way. So, I mean, I've always kind of wanted to do it and then just sort of got sidetracked, I guess, for a while in terms of like actually doing it as an adult.
He's dark. He's very honest.
The worst part of being a comic for me is definitely having to sell yourself and say to someone, I'm funny, you should put me on stage. I just sort of keep to myself, I think. I mean, I know I've talked to people before going on stage, but I don't really remember like having an interaction with them so much.
He's already won. I don't know, we talk about this, and will he win? Could he win? What happens if he wins? And his brain starts going in 900 places.
I don't know, is there a secret to comedy? No one's told me yet, I don't know.
Please welcome Brad Hart.
Good evening. I was taking care of my niece recently, and as lunchtime rolled around, being 5, she of course wanted to go to McDonald's, and I thought we could discuss this. Now, being a dutiful uncle, I agreed to take her. Now, I'm a vegetarian, and I generally don't like vegetarians, particularly those that would come up here and talk about it, you know, health and conscience and legumes, you know. I mean, I only became one in the first place to try and impress a girl I was trying to date, to be honest. And now, it's not even so much that I don't like the taste of meat, it's just that that relationship stunted me emotionally, and now I can't even look at a hot dog. Kind of a separate issue. So, we cross under the transom of the Golden Arches with a certain amount of trepidation, because for a vegetarian, nothing brings your childhood flooding back like the smell of frying meat. So we get up to the counter, and my niece is ordering like a Pavlovian bottom feeder. And as I'm filling up on all the free smiles, it occurs to me that there's a graduation process, a system to the McDonald's food chain based on age and maturity. I thought we'd run through this. The hamburger, as my niece sort of instinctively understands, is first. It's small and compact. It's conservatively garnished. There's no poem to memorize, you know. It's great. The quarter pounder is next. This I sort of see as a mid-adolescence burger, you know. It's a little larger. It's a little more realistic looking. It takes a bit more digital dexterity to manipulate, but it's still a fairly uncomplicated burger. It's also around here that you get the miscellanea of the McChicken and, of course, the Filet-O-Fish, which I love because it's testament to the fast food world that they had to pull that middle F out. You know, you can't say of fast enough, just O, way quicker. You know? Then, of course, we get to the granddaddy of them all, the 2 all-beef patty, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, onion, pickles on a sesame seed bun. And this Big Mac of ours is really a masterpiece when you think of it. You know, it's 3 levels and kind of 2 burgers in one and a sauce you can't find anywhere else in the world. You know. Thousand Island jar, maybe. But I feel like when you order this for the first time, it's like you cross into a level of adulthood and you can't go back. I don't know if it's just me, but it's like if I see someone who's 20 or older eating a little McDonald's hamburger, it's just disturbing to me. It's like they've lapsed into a state of mental regression that a Happy Meal is not going to cure, you know? I don't know if it's disturbing just because they look like giants eating them. But it all comes down to that McDonald's hamburger, as endorsed by the Hamburglar, who, incidentally, is smart enough to navigate his way around a fast food restaurant to steal food, but just stupid enough to name himself after the thing that he steals. Who took the burgers? I don't know if this should come as any surprise, coming from a corporation that names its Happy Fun mascot Grimace. Yeah, we just gotta come up with a name for the Happy Fun character. I'm just gonna throw these out, see if they hit anyone at the table. Scowly? Frowny? Doug? Pissy? I don't know, I'm stumped. Jim, you got anything? Grimace? Beautiful. That captures it. Jim, you are bucking for a promotion. That is 2 in a row. That McRib is brilliant. This, to me, is McDonald's in a nutshell. The McRib. Can we take a side of ribs and make a sandwich out of it? Is that possible? Can we do that? No, sir, that is not possible. Maybe if we just shaped it like ribs. Yeah, throw some barbecue sauce on it. They won't know the difference. Just shape it like the thing, and people will think it's the thing. I mean, why don't you just make the McCat head while you're at it? What is the difference? It's bones sandwich. Bones sandwich. I can't think of 2 more diametrically opposed ideas. It would be like cutting down the planet's rainforests to herd cows and then having a charity to save the children of the world. Oh yeah. Thank you.
Stay tuned for more Cream of Comedy after these messages. And now, back to Cream of Comedy.
Before our next nominee comes out here, I just want to inform everybody that the Tim Sims Encouragement Fund is open to all forms of comedy. Stand-up, improvisation, sketch, anything going. It just so happens that every contestant this evening is from the stand-up persuasion. So just let you know that, including our next nominee, who's a young lady who was born in England. Yes, England. Huh? Yes. Then she moved to Canada. And she spent a good deal of years in Kingston, Ontario. Says the parolee in the back. All right. Let's meet our next nominee, Rachel Cantelon.
Janine Garofalo, I just saw her recently, and I just find she's pretty amazing. Like, she's just very real on stage, and she's just telling stories that end up being funny. And I think that's what I aspire to be, is just be very comfortable up there and just be telling stories about my life. And now that I'm in comedy and I have an outlet for it, I feel like I'm pretty boring during my everyday life.
I think maybe she's funnier in everyday life.
Yeah, I don't think I do, but it'll be interesting to see when I'm on camera later, if I actually do. I think if I won, the award money will go off to MasterCard. Maybe I'm a dirty comedian, but I plan to grow.
Please welcome to the stage, Rachel Cantelon.
So I moved to Toronto a few years ago and met the man of my dreams. But before we started dating, I had been single for so long that I thought I almost forgot how to be a jealous, psychotic bitch. Turns out that shit just comes right back to you. I think it's tough being single in the big city. Like, I can remember that the most action I got was at the subway turnstile every morning. Yeah, what I'd do is I'd stick my token in and then hip thrust the bar as hard as I could. You know, so the other bar would come up and smack my ass. Got kind of expensive, though. So I got a pass. And a boyfriend. Play in the field, you know. I've been exercising lately, and I've lost about 15 pounds. Yeah. I think when you lose weight, like, your body changes. Like, I have these two hard, like, hip bones. Who knew? My boyfriend bought me a tennis racket for my birthday, so we played tennis all summer long. And I think it's kind of ironic, you know, I think tennis is a lot like a relationship. You start with love, and after a few misdirected backhands, you end up with no balls to play with. As part of my fitness regime, I'm trying to do 20 push-ups a night, but I can't. I can only do 15. But I figure, you know, if I keep at it, if I keep persevering, someday if someone that weighs the exact same amount as I do comes at me, I should just be able to push them away. Like, pull them in close and push them away again. Like 15 times. And, you know, maybe if I keep practicing, I can sort of like push and pull and clap and I think the best part about losing weight is you get to go out and buy new clothes, and I'm always trying to figure out what's, you know, hip and in style. So I picked up a women's fashion magazine, and in it was an article on buying the perfect pair of blue jeans. And it gave women advice, you know, if they were top heavy or bottom heavy, or like high-waisted or low-waisted. And I just wonder what you're supposed to do if you're short and you have big thighs and a fat ass. Well, it's not so fat anymore because you went on the diet, but you still have the low self-esteem. And, you know, you're broke because all your extra money goes to Canada student loans, which you like to refer to as your pimp. And, you know, you've been living with your boyfriend for like a year and a half, and sure, you talk about marriage. Well, mostly you talk and he watches hockey. But, I mean, isn't that the way that marriage is supposed to be? And, I mean, maybe it's wrong to think that a man could solve all your problems, but you think if you could just, like, capture one and, like, trick him into marrying you, at least you'd have someone to spend the rest of your miserable life with. Like, what's a perfect pair of jeans for that? Why you gotta pick just one problem? Well, seeing as I've opened up the door to talking about sex a few times now, and because I am a dirty comic, you know that old cliche about sex that says once you go black, you never go back? I think you can go back. You just need to double up. Thank you very much.
Stay tuned for more Cream of Comedy with Patrick McKenna. And now back to more Cream of Comedy.
Oh yes, we are merely one nominee away from finding out who will take home the prestigious Tim Sims Encouragement Award. Ooh, baby. I'm going to introduce you to our next nominee. He's a 26-year-old from Newmarket, Ontario. He's a Libra. He's looking for a partner who likes to walk in the rain and wouldn't mind picking him up a deck of smokes on the way home from the beer store. Let's curl up and meet Tim Polley.
I think I wanted to be an adult. I don't think they really expected to hear it.
There are family members who still don't believe he's in comedy or getting up on stage and telling jokes.
A lot of my favorite jokes, I guess, if I can say I have favorites, I think they were really failed jokes at first. They were jokes that weren't working, and I just had to switch it a little bit. I like to make people laugh in the head first and have it go down through their body.
It's surreal.
It's not easy, I think. It is always coming up to that point where you realize this is hard, and it's going to be hard, and it's always going to be hard. It's more like, what would all the people I owe money to do with it? No?
Ladies and gentlemen, Tim Polley.
Hi there. I went back to visit my parents, back to their house, a couple of months ago. And the first thing I saw when I got in the front door, hanging on the wall, was this family portrait with my mom and my dad and my two sisters and the dog even, and not me. So I got jealous. And I went right up to my dad. I said, "Dad, how come I'm not in the family portrait?" And he looked at me strangely. And he said, "Well, Tim, it's because we thought you died in that jet ski accident." And as I tore away the seaweed and zebra mussels that clung to me, it was then that I realized my parents are glasses half empty kind of people. But on my apartment, hanging on my wall, I've got this map of Europe. And I spend quite a bit of time just sort of staring at it. Because it's always been a dream of mine to save up a little bit of money and buy a television. But TV's supposed to be bad for you, I understand. My dad used to have this book. This big book about birds. And I think I remember it so clearly because it was the only book he had. The only book we were allowed in the house. So there came this time in my life where I knew pretty much all there was to know about birds, but nothing of love. Or Jesus, for that matter. And people were always pulling me aside saying, Jesus loves you. Jesus will save you. But I couldn't contextualize that in my matrix of birds. All that stuff just makes me feel kind of sad, I guess. If you feel sad for over an extended period of time, it can lead to depression. And let me tell you, it is no fun being in a downward spiral. Unless it's a water slide. And that's a lot of fun. One way of pulling yourself out of one of these depressions, I think, would be to get a job of some kind. I was at a job interview one time, and the employer, he wanted to know a little bit more about me. He said, "Which do you prefer working with, paper or people?" And I said, "Paper." I said, "Oh, that's interesting. We don't get that a lot. Why is that?" And I said, "Because paper doesn't yell at me for being late all the time." I've got a high school reunion coming up in a few years, probably. You want to make a triumphant return. I think the best way to return to your high school for the reunion would be wearing a gold jacket and riding a lion. And then everybody would say, "Hey, wow, look at Tim Polley. He got a new jacket." I liked high school quite a bit. And the subjects I learned there, like math and science and history, geography. I think geography has this great influence on history. And here's an example. An apple falls on Isaac Newton's head and he comes up with a theory of gravity. Now at the same time, on a tropical island somewhere, there was a guy every bit as smart, laid out unconscious beneath a coconut tree. He didn't get the opportunity to analyze or conclude upon the information given. Now, Isaac Newton's a genius because in England they have softer and lighter tree fruit. Hey, what's going on with Raymond? I thought he'd have way more theories by now. Instead, he just complains about headaches and strange dreams a lot. But not the good kind of dreams where you invent or discover something, but the useless kind where you think you're 1,000 feet tall and made out of rainbows. Yeah, it amazes me how one person can look at an apple and come up with insight on the nature of the universe. And another person looks at an apple and says, "I bet if I peeled this, cut out eyes and a mouth, put a dress on it and let it dry for 2 weeks, it would resemble a little old lady. Thank you, you guys.
This year's recipient of the Tim Sims Encouragement Award, when Cream of Comedy returns. And now, back to Cream of Comedy with your host, Patrick McKenna.
Well, the big moment's almost here. The judges have tallied all their points in the talent and the posture and the congeniality categories. Unfortunately, the swimsuit competition has been canceled due to the fact that none of the nominees would allow me to shave them. So, instead, we'll be moving right along to the big announcement. And who better to make that than the lady who got this whole thing started? The fabulous, the talented, the sexy. Ms. Lindsay Leese, ladies and gentlemen.
Joining us this evening at the 7th annual Cream of Comedy. Well, we never would have made it this far had it not been for our enduring partnership with our sponsors for the last 6 years. Thank you to the Comedy Network and its president, Mr. Ed Robinson. I'm proud to say that many of our previous award winners and nominees have gone on to great successes, like starring in their own television shows. Canada is known for producing funny people. And I'd like to think that we play a part in introducing the next generation. Tonight's winner of the Tim Sims Encouragement Award and the $2,500 that goes with it was chosen by the same jury of comedy professionals who have selected the 5 talented nominees you've seen perform this evening. Kevin Harrod, Linda Ellis, Brad Hart, Rachel Cantelon, and Tim Polley. As you can imagine, making the decision on which of these nominees is most deserving is a very difficult one. This year, it was so difficult that the jury was not able to agree on a winner. For the first time in our history, we have a tie. Ooh. Please join me now in congratulating our 2 award recipients of the Tim Sims Encouragement Award, Mr. Tim Polley and Brad Hart.
People who receive awards often say that to be nominated is the real honor, and that getting the award is secondary. And I always thought that was kind of a crock. But with a certain amount of authority at this point, I can say it's not. And I know that I feel honestly honored to have my name listed among the 4 other people that were nominated. And I would like to thank the judges for voting the way that they did. And Linda Cash for nominating me in the first place. Lastly, I just want to thank one friend who not only does she support me, but she's really helped me in a lot of ways, sort of working towards being a comedian. So, Allie, this is partly yours as well. Thanks.
Just let me step forward a bit. Well, yeah, thank you for doing it. I would like to thank Lindsay and Bonnie and Gina for all their help and work, and all of the people that encouraged me. Chris Finn for nominating me, Zoe Randall for writing a nice letter. There's a lot of people that helped me out, and yeah, just thanks. I'm not very articulate, as you can see.
has one nipple.
Bones. Sandwich.